We are approaching close to 8,000 lawyers and staff critical to the DOJ either resigning or being pushed out. We've been covering this mass exodus, this internal implosion at the DOJ, which I think was manifest during, I don't even know what you would call Attorney General Pam Bondi's hearing before the House Judiciary Committee. Say what you want about Merrick Garland. When he showed up before the House Judiciary Committee, he came prepared. He answered the questions. He exercised decorum. He wasn't behaving like a awful third grader. No offense to awful third graders. But this behavior by the DOJ that federal courts have been consistently not just frustrated, but have viewed as outright sanctionable conduct in cases across the country. We saw it all comes from the top, and then beyond that, it comes from the top of Donald Trump, who gives Pam Bondi her instructions. I mean, she brought with her a middle school style burn book. No offense to middle school students who use burn books. And she just started giving these ad hominem attacks at the members of Congress who were just asking her pretty basic questions about, why haven't you done this? Or can you inform us of who the co-conspirators are? Or what documents are being withheld? And I don't even want to play her clips, right? But she would be saying, well, actually, you live in Culver City. Do you know what it's like to live in Culver City? Pam Bondi probably lives in the equivalent of a Culver City. And she would bring out these weird and bizarre attacks on these various members of Congress. But federal judges, whether they were Trump appointed, Reagan appointed, Obama appointed, George W. Bush appointed, George H.W. Bush appointed, Clinton or Biden appointed, federal judges, not in a political way, have been very critical of Trump's DOJ, but in just a competence way. Why aren't you filing your documents on time? Why are you missing the court's deadlines? Why are you not following the rules of evidence? Why are you not showing up at court hearings? Why are your witnesses claiming that they don't know what the case is about when they submitted declarations claiming that they knew enough to testify? And now when I call them to testify, they don't even know what's stated in their declarations. Now, we've, of course, been covering what DOJ lawyers have been saying in response, and they say we're overworked, we don't have the staff, we haven't been trained. Last week, we covered how the DOJ now has to rely on JAG military lawyers because there's no AUSAs who can handle the caseload. We talked about the story of a immigration lawyer within the Trump regime who was transferred to be an AUSA without knowing what to do. And she said, "Judge, lock me up and throw away the key. Find me in contempt because I need rest. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not trained. I'm doing my best. But there's such disorganization, Judge, that we have people in prisons in huge numbers who courts have ordered released, and the habeas petitions can't even be processed by our office. So notwithstanding the fact that people are being unlawfully detained in prisons, in detention centers that resemble concentration camps, with little children sending letters that ProPublica wrote about saying, I think the water's making me sick. We don't have food, and when we get it, it makes me even sicker. I remember seeing some of those drawings and some of those writings, and hat tip to ProPublica for the great work that they're doing. There's not lawyers to process the paperwork to release people who have been ordered to be released. I want to bring in Harry Littman from the Talking Feds YouTube channel, Talking Feds podcast, Talking Feds Substack. Now, Harry, you were a top lawyer within the Department of Justice. You were also the top federal prosecutor for the Western District of Pennsylvania. You ran that office, so you know what the DOJ's tradition is. And so when you hear the number could be as high as 8,000, I recall the question of Congressmember Neguse cross-examining Bondi. What's going on with the crypto department. How many lawyers are there? Congress member, I cannot answer your question, but I will tell you, have you seen this individual? He was arrested and he lives in Colorado. And then Congressmember Neguse, who's a lawyer, says, you're not answering it because you've demolished the crypto division and it no longer exists, so people can commit all these crypto crimes with zero accountability. And we saw that. And Harry, it was beyond cringe. It was, what the hell is that? And you see why. Who would want to work with that person? It is a hostile, horrible work environment, not from a political perspective, but what the hell was that?
You've thrown more than a little bit at me, man. But the thing is, it's all true, and B, all connected. So I agree with you. And let's start with Bondi. How even to put it? She's a very unfortunate combination of taking offense very easily and giving offense very easily. She is nasty. She is crass. She is completely non-responsive, and as best you can tell, she is substanceless. Now, I've testified, I've prepared people for testimony. A time will come when you get a hard question. Anyone with any sort of just knowledge or poise or class knows to be somewhat circumspect. I'll get back to you, Senator, etc. She really seems like not just the third grade student, but the third grade student who actually can't keep up with the third grade curriculum, because every time a long division problem comes up, she screams at the math teacher and breaks the chalk against the blackboard. She is a disaster. Now, that also does bleed into everything you're talking about. Let's go to these thousands of judges who have now completely become unabashed. This is for a DOJ alum, and thank you for including my experience both at Maine Justice and in the field, would be absolutely mortifying if it happened to a single person. 8,000 people, it's just more than that. It's institutional. And again, what's going on, you have judges, first saying, I'm not sure we can trust you anymore, little by little creeping up, and from slightly biting into to now completely eroding and just raising what had been such an important resource for the department, but also for public safety, the sense that the department speaks with integrity, capability, trustworthiness, judges can depend on them. That is now out the window and fallen 100 flights and exploded.